guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I draw hair. Somebody asked this question the other day, and I definitely have some little techniques that I do when I'm drawing women's hair and guys' hair. So I'm just going to draw a quick head here, and then I'm going to kind of show you a lot of times when I'm drawing a girl, I like to do like a sweeping kind of bangs look, and I'll just run it across the forehead like this, and then kind of I know that the hair rises up off the head, so it's kind of this shape right here, and then I'll sweep it out like this, so it's kind of like this S shape. See that? And this, and then I'll bring it back in, and then where it rests on the shoulders. Now this area back here, let's say there's an ear in here, the hair will sweep in front of that, like if you have a thicker bang. And I tend to draw the hair in like chunks at first. So like I know this is like a big section of hair right there. So I'll draw this big section, and this is the most highlighted section. So then I have this S shape, it rests on the shoulders, and then you have the neck that kind of comes here, and the hair kind of goes behind it. Now this hair in the foreground here, that's the one I tend to like curl around like this, and this is a style of hair I do a lot. Now the other thing I do, well, first I'll actually come back and do this kind of the other side here, and then I again do another section. This hair kind of swoops out like this, and it's again the same kind of S shape that I do all the time. Knowing that this hair is kind of like it's darker in the background, this will be all in shadow, like that. And I don't worry too much about detail in this part of the hair because it's the darkest section of hair. But one thing I do that I do on every girl style of hair, and I'll show you two different ways that I do it, is it's this reflection that happens in hair where it's kind of these staggered dark lines. And so I'll do a little section like this, and then I'll do some nice like fine lines, and this is where I add the detail of the hair. But see how it's like not as dark through here? That's that kind of reflection that happens naturally in hair. I don't know how else to explain it other than it's a reflection, and obviously this is for a darker hair color what I'm working on here, but generally you carry like on this front bang part right here, there's where that reflection was on the back part, you want it really more prominent on the front part. So that's my biggest reflection in the hair, is right through here. And then the darkest section of hair is this stuff that recedes back. And generally what I'll do is I'll go really dark next to the face and the neck. So this line right here, this area is the darkest part, it's the furthest part back. One other thing that does, which is really nice, is that frames the face really well. One thing I always try and do is frame the face in my drawings so the cheeks and stuff don't blend out into the hair and everything. And so this really dark area, I always tend to do that really dark, and that's the darkest part of the hair. That's why I like this hairstyle when I do girls, for that reason. But I'll slowly get a little bit lighter as I come out from behind here. And that swoops around in the front like this, and I'll try and define that front bang area like with a hard line like this. And then now for the ends of the hair, I try and get a little wispy, like I'll have like lines come out like that, or I'll do curls, like some curl scribbles or something like that. But again, coming back to this reflection at the top of the hair, like up here, like where the light source is kind of hitting this part of the hair. That's, I think, the most important thing that I do, or the most common thing I do in all hairstyles, even the guy hairstyles that I work on. So I might come through and like add some highlights through that section as well to the hair. I don't always add highlights with the white though when I'm doing hair. I like to keep the hair somewhat matte. But then finishing off over here, because this is the short side of the bangs. And I'll show you several different styles of bangs, but this is the one I kind of do most common. And then you have kind of the shoulders swoop in here like this. And the hair, I just try and follow along how the body goes. So that would be one hairstyle. Now I'll do, let's try it from a different angle. So I'll just do that kind of same idea, but from a different angle. Let's do a quick head. So swoops like this, comes out. And again, I always draw that inside head part, and then I just have the hair kind of accentuate that. Again, focusing on that reflection of the hair. It helps give it dimension. And when I do that, when I do this reflection, I try, it's hard to explain. I scribble kind of so that I don't have like a straight line across here. I just kind of bounce up and down along this, if that makes sense. And I come around, and you've got the swoopy section. And again, it's important to draw that head underneath there first. That way the hair, you can kind of run the hair along it, and you know what the hair shape is gonna be. Now the other thing too to think about when you're doing hair is that, you know, it's coming out off the forehead, so you have this reflected, or this shadow that kind of drops down. So when you're drawing your face, when you're finishing drawing your girl, there's this shadow that kind of runs along the same bang line. And that's important to remember. That'll really help give your drawing dimension. So, and again, this front part has the largest reflection in it. And then, like I said, I'll kind of come through and I'll add really fine lines like that after I've drawn in blocks of the hair. So that's that same hairstyle, but like side view. Okay, so for guys' hairs, I kind of do this, I'll draw the head and the ears in, and then kind of see where I want to go from there. Generally, I'll come out off the ear just a little bit and do like, this is like a crop top, kind of like my hairstyle and stuff. And then kind of spikes in the front here, come over to this side, and this is a kind of a square type head style. And when I do this, I'll always darken this area right here. Again, I like to frame the face with all my characters, or all the characters I'm drawing. And this is without reference. These are just reference ideas I've had when I've referenced in the past, like comic books and stuff. Now this is without like that widow's peak, the V that comes down in the front, but you can add that like that. And then normally hair kind of has this shape where it comes down into your temple and then recedes back to your ear line like that. Now for guys' hair, I like to do like this kind of scribble technique like this on the outsides, which is much different than what I do for girls. So you've got that kind of scribble technique on the outside, and then I darken it in like this. So that's one guy hairstyle I do. And then another one, I'll do another one real quick. So this one, I don't know if you'd consider it a hairstyle, but again, I kind of go with that same head shape, and I'll do a rounded look right here. This is more like if they have a close shave on their head, I'll just do kind of stippling like this. But obviously you still want to add a little bit of shadow, because where the hair is, it's going to be a little bit darker. So I'll go over that like that, and then I'll just kind of do kind of little chops with my pencil like this. So, and that's another hairstyle that you can do for your guys. But basically you can do different versions of all of these. I mean, I can add a ponytail to this guy, like if I wanted to. like this. Normally I'll do a little thing like that, and then I'll kind of come across that, add like a circle shape, and then I always think about what's happening behind his head. So if this ponytail like was behind him, it'd swoop down and maybe come out like this. And then I'll add these lines to make it look round. And again, remembering that reflection type thing, sometimes I'll add that to the ponytail like on the inside. So wherever the light is hitting, like if it's coming down from over here on this one, I'll have this side of the ponytail dark, and then I'll add hairlines like that. That's if he has a ponytail, and the ponytail kind of comes out like this. And I try and be really loose when I'm drawing hair. Like you see right here, like I feel like when you're loose with your hair, it's a nice contrast, especially if you're being really hard lined with your face. Like if you do hard lines like this, it's important. I feel like it's nice to add a little bit of contrast to that hard line by being a little bit free with the hair. It just adds a little something to the drawing, in my opinion. So a lot of you guys saw a daily sketch I did of like Robin Lopez the other day, and I did a really funny his hairstyle is like this kind of like curly afro style hair. And for his hairstyle, I just did these kind of like, I did a bunch of this swirl technique. Say you got a big neck here, his head, and his hair kind of like comes straight out off his head. So there's a lot of shadow on his forehead from his hair. So you always got to remember where the shadow from your hair, what kind of hair you're doing, how that affects the reflections and shadows on the head. But his hair doesn't really have any reflections. It's completely different than what I normally do, but you can still see his ears on his hair, so I'll draw those in real quick. And his hair kind of comes out like this a little bit, and then again you have really dark, where the value is really dark behind his ears. That's the furthest part away from, you know, especially if they have long hair, so it's in shadow. But for him, I did this kind of swirl technique. So I filled it in all with scribbles like this, but then I got really detailed and I did these kind of like swirls that come out. And this actually took a while to do that hairstyle, but it's very different than the hair I normally do. So I kind of wanted to show you guys how I did that. It's just, I'm adding facial structure because that's what I do. It's hard not to. And so, since his hair kind of comes out towards you, where it's next to the skull on the top, that's the darkest areas, because this upper area, since it's coming out forward, it's blocking light. So you can't, this is going to be the lightest part of his hair up top, and then you're gonna have some dark areas. Now, if some of these little strands, like these curly strands, kind of come down into the foreground like this, like they'll be kind of lit, so. But it's really all about understanding where the light is hitting and remembering to be free with your pencil when you're doing hair. As you can see, I'm not holding the pencil like I normally do. I'm just kind of really loosely holding it and trying to be as random as possible with those scribbles. I don't want to have any kind of consistency there, because I think the randomness is what hair naturally does, because unless you're, you know, you got a hairstyle like this where you're using gel or something, where your hair is all perfectly in place, or, you know, some girl hairstyles and stuff. So, but as you can see, that's kind of how I did his hair. And that's another hairstyle to use. It's important. One thing I do that after doing this video right now, realizing that I do a lot of similar hairstyles on a lot of my characters, and that's because I'm not referencing. I definitely, I think from now on when I do a character, I might try and reference some cool hairstyles. Well guys, that's the video. I hope you guys liked it. I hope it was somewhat informative. I'll leave you with this drawing example of that Robin Lopez hair I did. Actually, it was kind of cool. Damian Lillard actually posted this drawing to his Instagram and Facebook page. So like 1 million people saw this drawing, which is super cool. I've never had anything like that kind of happen.
Anyway, I hope you guys liked the video, and if you did, subscribe, and thanks for watching.
So here are the questions I get asked most often, and these are really quick, so we're just gonna go through them real quick. First question is, what